I just got out of the shower. Holy dude, these banners are insane. All right, so we just had Chevy return and they put her on these banners. So very clearly, I think now Chevy was used as bait with Arlecchino and Chloride, because I really don't see. They are returning them basically an update after, right? Like, I don't think we've ever seen this fast of a rerun for a specific, like, 4-star. Like, legitimately, 5.3, and we went through 5.4, and now 5.5 has Chevy on it again. I think this is the fastest rerun time for a 4-star, and it's very clear that the reason why Chevy was on Arlecchino banner and, you know, such is because, well, it seems like, you know, there was pretty big bait, just because, I mean, Veressa seems very strong. Assuming because Fiorina was in 5.4. I'm assuming maybe that was their bait. I don't know. It just seems really weird unless this is the bait, which is kind of weird. I don't know. But either way, these banners are insane because you got Eon-san. They've released a whole bunch of stuff about her kid. I mean, it's very... I'll look into that. I haven't read that stuff at all. But then you also have Chevy, which is like the best 4-star almost. Like, you could argue that she is the best because she basically is like just providing so many buffs for her niche that it's like insane. And, you know, sometimes she can provide so much buff that you don't need Bennett. Like, you could make the argument that she is the best 4-star. However, I don't think so. Gaming is the best 4-star DPS, though, which is very strong. Having him at C6 gets him even more crit rate and stuff, which is just very good. And then Eon-san is basically second Bennett, which is utterly insane. So looking at these banners, like, I don't think that I could say that, like, you know, you're bad for summoning on these. Like, this is an insane setup. Like, you could even make an Overload gaming comp, which isn't advised, but like, you could, like, if you summon on the Senune banner, you just do, Senune would, if you get her, you wouldn't be able to do the Overload comp. But like, either way, I feel like you're winning even if you do summon on Senune. Although, however, I don't advise to summon on the Senune banner because she really isn't a character that is like blown away. Oh my god, this character is insane at all anymore. Like, she used to be like, wow, this character makes our, you know, plunge or our old characters really good for plunge. Not necessarily that much anymore. Not really that, you know, it doesn't really work because generally, you know, now we have Xianyun with the Hu Tao variant, so Hu Tao variant became stronger. We'll see. I'll be doing my, you know, test with, you know, Senune when we get to that. But then, like, even the older plunge characters now, it's like, well, like, you just don't use those. You just don't use them because, like, now Natlan just has raised, not necessarily raised the bar, but, like, they added more of these top tier DPSs. So, like, these plunge DPSs that were like, okay, they're okay, you know, they're not bad anymore. You know, now it's more like, okay, they're starting to look bad again because it's just like we already have these new Natlan DPS characters who are doing 2 million damage rotations easily. Yeah, if you're someone who can actually use Senune as like a best in slot team, then go for it. However, I just don't recommend it. And Varesa is now looking to be an insane pull, but you know, that is just because she seems to be a Natlan DPS, basically. She's basically a Natlan DPS. Good job, Hoyo. You made one. That's literally it. All the Natlan DPSs have been pretty good. We'll see about her AoE, but honestly, it's beginning to the point where it's like, I can see what they're going to do in 6.0. They're just going to start making the Abyss Chambers really heavy AoE. But even then, a lot of the Natlan characters can handle that. I think Mulaney is the only one who actually might like really start to struggle with that. Because Kanich, if there's a heavy AoE, it's generally probably going to end up being, you know, oh, Kanich, you know, he can hit multiple enemies because they're so compacted together that you can easily hit multiple enemies. We just experienced that in the Abyss. And a character like Veressa doesn't seem like she has bad AoE either, so I think Mulaney will probably be the only one who really struggles. I mean, Chaska, obviously, but Chaska's, it's just basically, yeah, there's nothing you can say, really. I wouldn't recommend Chaska at all for any sort of AoE situation. If you're not going up against full single target, you probably have a better DPS who can average a better time, right? However, Veressa seems very, very strong. I mean, legitimately, this banner is utterly insane. Hopefully, I might, you know, summon, you know, a bit on this banner, but we'll see. I don't know. I have external things happening in my life, so we'll see. And then look at the weapon banner. So the weapon banner, man, those are all Natlan weapons. I'm not that, I don't necessarily know what Natlin weapons are good. This one gives attack, increased plunging attack crit rate. Oh, that could be useful for gaming, I guess. Yeah. After plunging attack hits, normal and charged plunging attack damage is increased by 16%. That probably is useful for gaming. I don't know if it's like better than Serpent Spine or anything, but you know, even at R5, I mean, that's 32% crit rate on your plunges. I'm pretty sure gaming's damage is all considered plunge damage. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. And then we have this one, climbing stamina consumption, elemental skill damage. Yeah, none of this pole arm doesn't really speak, you know, super strength, if I'm being entirely honest. Don't take everything I'm saying here to heart. Oh, I know this weapon's good for Chaska, the bow. Yeah, the bow weapon, I'm pretty sure, is like decently good for Chaska. Like, it increases your charge attacks, and yeah, yep. Okay, yeah, the bow weapon, good for Chaska, but that's all I know. This weapon seems to be targeted at Mualani. However, it's 61% energy recharge. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I'm looking at more at this weapon. This weapon just sucks. This weapon, it kind of just sucks. Unless it's like double hydro, then it could be like a Nevi weapon. I don't know. We're gonna move on from the catalyst, okay? Normal, yeah, we don't even have like a good sword DPS right now. I think chloride is normal attacks, right? She does do normal attacks. So useful for the chloride, I guess. But let's talk about the real reason why you're summoning on this weapon banner. It's because of these two weapons. Now, from what I've heard, it seems like the Crane Echoing Call, I'm assuming is what it's called. It seems like that weapon is going to be decent for Veressa. So if you summon on this weapon banner, let me go ahead and pull up, you know, Genshin's Twitter so I can see what the weapon details are. Should be able to see it. So it's max base attack, 44% crit damage. All right. I mean, you could probably... is there another catalyst like that? I don't know. Wanderer's Catalyst. Yeah, but however, I don't think you're taking advantage of Wanderer's passive for his catalyst, honestly. Yeah, you're not taking advantage. I mean, you got the normal attack speed. You're not doing that, yeah. So, Veressa's weapon's passive is 28% attack. Okay, good. When you use a plunge, you will gain an effect that increases your plunging crit damage by 28%. When you use elemental skill or burst, you will gain another effect, which increases the plunging attack crit damage again by 40%. The two effects above each last for 15 seconds. It will be canceled after you hit. Okay, so you're getting 68% crit damage. Okay. Her weapon seems utterly insane for her. Her C1 might have to be like the best C1 in the game. Like, just looking at this, I don't think there is another catalyst that like has even comparable to that. Like, let's see what this Kagura Variety, what does this do? Nope, that's elemental skill damage. Nope. Oh no, it does. So, Kagura Variety might actually be decent for her, but it's 36% damage bonus. It's 36% damage bonus. She's getting 68% crit damage. Yeah, I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say that she'd probably have to have the best C1 in the game in order to have her weapon be worse than her C1. Like, this weapon is utterly insane. Well, I'm sorry for the, you know, free-to-play players who do not have enough for her weapon. Honestly, I probably won't even be summoning for her weapon either. But that's gonna suck because just looking at that, I don't think there's another weapon that even comes close. I'm assuming it's gotta be like a 30% gap between all of the 5-star weapons. I'm not joking. I think it might be that high. Like, even looking at Mualani's weapon, it's nowhere near that. It's like 12% normal attack damage bonus. Oh no, each stack. So it's like 48. So 48% normal attack damage bonus and 20% crit damage or HP. You also do get the extra crit damage, but I don't know, man. I really don't. Chat. We're chatty-tin. Yeah, this is bad. Or it's bad but good. That is probably the single best weapon increase we have in the game. I don't think there probably is another one. Well, no, Mavwika. Well, yeah, we can look at Mavwika as an example. So Mavwika's weapon is is a 30% increase. She does have 741 base attack, which is utterly insane, and that's pretty great for her, right? And it only increases her crit damage by 20% and the attack by 28%. All right, so here's the Mavuika team just for ease of use. So we're going to look at her crit damage and her attack, right? So attack right now, 1,958, okay, and 228 crit damage, all right? So let me use my E skill. Boom. All right. So like 900 extra attack and almost 40% crit damage. I think it's like 37%. I don't remember the exact effect. But oh my, that is utterly insane. And that is like a worse passive than what this weapon gives Veressa. This is how, okay, let's talk about this. So, people were saying that Veressa might still use Obsidian. I do not think this is the case. If you use Obsidian on Veressa, you already are having 68% crit damage, and you're basically just adding more crit damage to this. Whereas the new artifact set, they actually tweeted it out. The new artifact set gives you like 100% damage bonus, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah. Expect a Skirk theory tomorrow, because I think this new artifact set is for Skirk. And she's probably coming in 5.6 if I'm being entirely honest. But yeah, so the two-piece set is 25% increased plunging attack damage bonus. After the equipping character plunging charge elemental skill hits an opponent, they will gain 1/2/2. I'm assuming that's an error. 1, 2, 3 stacks, so they can max out at 3. You know, whatever. Elemental skills can trigger effect every 1 second. Plunging attacks deal 15% increased damage for 6 seconds. Max stacks of 5. So that's 75. So it is 100% damage bonus. The reason why this is important is because we're talking about, you know, 100% damage bonus versus, you know, 80% extra crit damage. She already has so much crit damage. She already has so much crit damage with her weapon. So Obsidian might be better if you don't have her weapon. However, if you do have her weapon, it's worse because you already have so much crit damage. I could see that being the reason why that's like that. Overall, yeah, utterly insane characters. If you summon on the weapon banner, I get it, because like that has to be the best increase for a DPS character, honestly. Like her C1, I don't know what it is, but it better be, or it better not be. If you C1 R1 Veressa might be like insane. We'll see what it is, but let's end this video here. Make sure to subscribe. We're like 10 subscribers away at this point from 6,000 subscribers, so if you want to just do that, then thank you. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and bye.